All right, so now I can see your comments. I can see Igor is crying. So I think what I did is I did like a splash or something. So it was like welcome to Indentation Land. Ba, 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 ba. Indentation Land. So whatever. So it says 2 lines. I said let's put a space between the 2 lines. So I think what I did is I just did a insert print or pint or patent. Man, I must be in Igor's time zone here. So then I just print nothing to get a blank space there, right? So then let's see what that looks like. So there we go. Welcome to Indentation Land. Space. Hello world. Hello world. Where have you been? All right. So somehow Igor got an error about indentation. So, oh my goodness, this thing is just totally busted. So if we go back into our script, and I did say this, what would happen? Aha! Look at that. So Igor, is this the error that you were getting? Is it? Now in this scenario it was kind of obvious. So if you had like 1 space, perhaps, and you didn't notice that, you get the same result. Igor said he lost memory. So essentially, like I was telling you, remember my rule that I talked about? I think I did this. It's part of my Python tutorial. Indent with intention. You can use that to help you remember. Indent with intention. Whenever you indent, make sure that you intend to do so, because indentation is very it has a specific meaning, right? So imagine, I guess it's symbolic within Python will be a way to describe it. So imagine something like a stop sign. Stop sign is not just some pretty picture on the side of the road that you can choose to admire or not admire. It's a specific instruction that you're expected to follow. So when you see a stop sign, you're supposed to stop. So when you do an indentation in your Python script, that's a stop sign. Not literally, I don't mean in a direct translation, but it's as symbolic as a stop sign to the interpreter. You're giving the interpreter instructions, right? So you do not want to be doing that on without intention. So it's similar to, some of you guys know I'm into motorcycles, and one of the things that they tell you about in terms of when you're like making turns and things like that, they talk about not giving unintentional steering inputs. So basically, based on how you're holding the handlebars while you're in a lean, you may move your hand slightly, responding to bumps in the roads and stuff like that. And by you moving your hand slightly, you're giving steering inputs. So basically you are telling the bike that you want to turn, which you don't want to be doing, just all willy-nilly. You want to, if you're turning, it should be an intentional process, right? So the same thing here. So the only thing is, that's all very simple and easy to understand, but the problem is sometimes you can run into scenarios where you can't see it. I can't think of a way to demonstrate it to you right now, but you see how you can tell that the print, the second line, the second print, you can tell that it's indented like that. Sometimes for some reason it won't be that easy to spot. You look at it and everything seems to be fine, but I don't know why that would be, because it seems like it's kind of obvious. But I do know that that does happen. So in that case, you just have to be a little bit more vigilant in terms of making sure. So if I'm not doing anything special, right? I'm not trying to tell the interpreter anything special as far as with indentation, right? Indentation says something, right? Like the ending of a loop, for example. If I'm not sending a specific instruction, then I want to make sure that there is no indentation. So if I'm getting this kind of error, I'm going to go line by line and look and see if there's any indentation that I did not intend, right? So anywhere that is indentation, it should be like, I did that because I was saying end of loop, or I was saying blah blah blah. There should not just be a random indent there in your code, right? So that's the basic fundamentals. But the next thing is, what are some tools to help you to figure that out? Well, if you're using something like gedit, and you can do this with Vim as well, but if you're using a program like gedit, where it's a GUI based editor, then typically there will be a how do I trigger? I think you have to save this before it'll give you the maybe not. Oh no, so you just have to choose it. So I mean, this is not directly relevant to what we're talking about, but I like to have the highlighting. So let's do not Perl, but Puppet. No guys, come on guys. What are we doing? We're not doing any Puppet here. We're doing Python, right? All right, so there you go. You can see all the color coding. Not really relevant, but, and see here as well, you can clearly see the indentation here. But again, there'll be times where it's hard to see. So what you need is additional tools to assist you with identifying the problem. So what you can do is, there's usually a way that you can turn on, like old school, it was called reveal codes, but in something like gedit, you have, is it font? No. Editor. Is it plugins? It might be plugins. View, display the number, 9 numbers. Highlight. It might be plugins. There might be a plugin that does that. Let's see. Command, dashboard. Every program is going to have a different thing, right? So there's draw spaces and tabs, right? So see that right there. You can see. So this, normally I couldn't see that, but now I'm seeing it, right? And I think that might be it for this program. Size. Yeah, I think that might be it for this. So, for example, if for whatever reason we couldn't see this indent, see, now you have that little dot there. See? And different programs will use different symbology, but here, so if this was kind of, so what will happen for some reason, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the formatting you're using or something, like the width of this space is kind of wide, so it stands out. But if the width of the space is smaller than that, then, and then you have a lot of code, for example, it'll be hard to see that this P is not exactly aligned with the P under it. So you could scan through and it looks like there's no indentation, but there is one. But with this mode that I have on, you'll see the dot, right? So if you're unsure, you'll see the dot. Now VIM has a similar thing as well. It's a mode that you can activate. What is it called? It's like set something, set, so I can find it, VIM Reveal codes. Oh wow, they actually looked. Somebody called it reveal codes. They're probably a WordPerfect person like me, old fogey. So I see something called set list. So let's see if that'll do it. Set list. There you go. So with set list, if I do an insert and a space, so there's different modes. Obviously, this is seems to be indicating the end of a line. That's the way I interpret this, because actually the end of the line shortcut symbol is $, so that makes sense. So it's the caret and the dollar. If you remember my video that I did talking about that, the caret and the dollar. So dollar shoots you to the end of the line. The caret shoots you to the beginning of the line. So this symbol seems to be just telling you the end of each line. So, so there's also set list characters. So set list chars equals, dot dot dot. Is that literally what you should be doing? Let's see. No, that's not. What is up with the dot dot dot? No, not an insert. Set. Oh, as I thought, that's supposed to be the list of what you want to see. So it's supposed to be like EOL. Isn't there one that shows everything? So someone suggested this option. Yeah, screwed the pooch on that one. Yeah, that is not the thing we want. I don't remember which is set list. So I don't remember offhand. So there's another one. Let's try that. So set syntax. So syntax on. Let's try that. So syntax on, and then we do this guy. There we go. So that works. So syntax on, and then set syntax equals white space. So now we can see very clearly all the spaces. So it's very easy to spot indentation, right? So for example, if I wanted to do a, let's see, while true, do. Print. What are you up to? Well, that's pretty annoying. Look at that. It does a special symbol for the tab, I guess. It's greater than dash, 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 dash. And when we're done, we just say print test. Hey, does this kill my color coding? It might just do that because everything is all in green now. While true do, invalid syntax. While true do. Semicolon. Horrible. Horrible. Who wrote this? Your syntax is horrible. Your syntax is horrible. While true, that's what happens now. All right. And we can do an import time. And then, so this end line is kind of ridiculous because you're never going to get to this line, but whatever. Let's do a, oh, why did I do that? Let's do a time dot sleep. And then we do 0.8. And we can add a space, yank, yank, put, and delete that. So there's space between each line. There you have it. So, considering that there's not that many lines in this code, it should be pretty easy for you to identify what the problem was. But essentially, you have something indented where it should not be. So everything is supposed to be flush with the margin unless you are, again, sending an instruction. So for example, here I'm doing a while true loop or a while loop. So I indent to indicate the body of the loop. Therefore, when I outdent, the interpreter knows that the loop is complete, right? So when I give the while true instruction, it's going to process all of the indented lines, line 1, line 2, line 3, back to the beginning, line 1, line 2, line 3, back to the beginning, line 1. So, and then more specifically, line 1, line 2, line 3, next line is outdented, so therefore I know this is the end, so I'm going to go back to the beginning and start all over. Same thing, every time it comes here and it sees that you've outdented, it knows that this is the final line. So there's probably some logic in there that if next line outdented, then current line equals final line or something like that, right? So you go here, if next line equals outdented, then current line equals final. That's not true, so therefore it doesn't apply that logic. Here, if next line equals outdented, then this line equals final. So this is not outdented, so it'll continue. Same thing here, if next line outdented, then this line equals final. In this case, the condition is true, so therefore it'll loop back. Now, I don't know the actual the code that the while is using, So that's just sort of my pseudocode interpretation of what's being done. That may not even be the way that it's actually doing that. For all I know, it could be paying attention to the position of the characters on the line somehow. But it's doing some kind of something like that, where it does recognize that this is outdented, and therefore that means to stop here. But that's basically how this works. But if I were to do, so another thing I could break here is even within the outdented, indented sections, I could add a space here, right, by accident, and that's going to be the same kind of problem. So if I run this again, we're going to get again, and there goes my stupid camera. So annoying. So Igor says his program is telling him that it's the code is unreadable. The code is unreadable. Where is my chat? Chat. Windows. Window capture. Existing. I don't see a chat. Chat. Hangout? No. We want chat. Maybe YouTube comments? It wouldn't be YouTube comments. No. That's not it. Let's add a window capture. Let's call it chat. And of course it complains because I know I did this already, but for some reason it's not showing up in my list. So now I gotta go add a chat 2, which is annoying, but whatever. Chat 2. Okay, so there's my chat. Now let me grab the chat, pop out. Name error, time is not defined. So are you copying the code that I'm doing now, or is this the code that you did before, Igor? Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from, Igor? You making that up? Are you making this up? My pasta is cold. Well, Igor, if you're doing literally what I'm doing, we should not be getting any errors unless you're not using the same version of Python as I am, and the version of Python that you're using doesn't like what I'm doing. So I'm using, if you type in Python and enter, it should tell you what version of Python you're using. I'm using 2.7.6. Is that what you're using? Nom 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 nom. Igor, what version of Python are you using? Aha. So Python 3. So let's see what happens when I run this with Python 3. So Python 3. Aha. Well, that's a, you know, I broke it here. So let's fix that and run it again. So it actually works. So that would indicate to me, if you're using the same version of Python and you're literally typing in what I'm typing in, you should get the same results, unless you're somehow not typing exactly what I'm typing in. Somehow you're making a mistake somewhere. Oh no. You're getting the name error, name time is not defined. So you would get a name error, time is not defined if you didn't define time, right? So that's actually a pretty good error message. So I've imported time here, right? So therefore, when I reference time here, it's already aware of what time is. So time is something that's been imported. It is part of my, I don't know if you'd consider that, I guess you'd consider that my namespace. So I have access to time because I've imported time. So by importing time, I've made time available. So therefore, when I refer to time, it works. But to try to replicate your issue, if I were to remove the import and run the same script, let's look at the results. So as you can see, I'm getting now that's interesting. That is interesting. So it's oh, I didn't clear the screen, is that why? Okay, clear. No, that's interesting. So it actually runs up to that point. So it does the splash, it does the hello world, it starts the loop. That's interesting. So basically it does one iteration of the loop and then it fails there, because it hits the time.sleep, and it doesn't know what time is. So you get a name error, name time is not defined. So the simple solution is to define time, right? Now time is defined, and now when I run it, good to go. Eureka! Das ist gut. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Das ist gut.
Das ist gut.
Das ist gut.
Das ist gut.
Gut. Oh my goodness.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm. Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm. Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
That means Igor, fix your program. Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm. Igor, reparieren.
Igor, reparieren Sie Ihr Programm.
What's the best way? How do we do the live stuff before? Was it Google Hangouts? Hangouts. Oh, bedtime. What is up with this stupid thing? I hate this. I hate this software. So again, I don't see your name popping up. I see you as a contact, but I don't know. I don't like this interface. That is way too loud. Oh my goodness. Igor, representa the program. Igor, repara el program. You gotta work on your German, man. Allo? Allo?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Can you hear me? Allo? Guess you can't hear me. Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. What is wrong with your program?
Dan, you are really hilarious. So, if you can look, I'm trying to show you my phone.
So, well, yeah, I already. Oh, okay. Yeah, you cannot import on the same line, right? You have the import on the same line as your shebang.
You're talking about this first line?
Yeah.
Where should I put the import?
That's a separate line.
Like this?
Yeah, you can't just So that's interesting. You just made me think about something, because on the command line, well, even on the command line, you have to pipe, because on the command line or semicolon, in the command line, you can certainly group commands together. Well, first of all, the shebang, that's a special entry indicating where the interpreter is located. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it has special rules where you cannot do anything there. But as far as other lines, you might be able to group them like you do in the command line, but you still would need to give some kind of special, like semicolon or pipe or something. Otherwise, you would need to do one command per line. So yeah, so that should be fine now. I can't really see it that well, but
What you want to see?
well, the import is fine, but now you've commented it out, so it's not going to do anything. So you need to remove that. Get rid of that that pound sign from there. Oh, it's a no. Yeah, the pound sign is a comment. So when you have that there, it's gonna ignore that line. 1 second. Let's see. It's working now?
Yeah, you're a smart guy.
Ah, no. I'm a dummy.
You actually, if you're really intelligent, yeah, hell yeah.
Dum. Let me see.
You and I actually know you're a smart guy. I'm just really not knowledgeable about Python.
Well, it's it is well past your bedtime as well. So, what time is it?
4.
Whoa, yeah, it is well past your bedtime. What time do you normally get up?
Well, my dream is to get up around 6 a.m. But I don't want to brag. This is so stupid. If I tell you the last few days, I wake up around 1 p.m.
Wow. Why are you waking up so late?
I actually can't sleep. Before it was insomnia.
Oh.
Now I kind of ended up because I was watching a movie 2 days in a row, Harry Potter, my girlfriend. So yeah, that's a big problem. But I don't know. I'm trying to work out to make myself really tired by training. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get out of your rhythm because of well, for me, and it's annoying, like one night you will stay up too late or something, and then now you're thrown off. So you stay up too late, you wake up super late, then at bedtime you're wide awake, so then you stay up late again, and then you're just stuck on that treadmill. So unfortunately, it's kind of like a band-aid where you have to just rip it off. So you have to somehow abruptly get off of that cycle. So like what you are trying to do is what I generally do. I will try to, because the main problem is that you will not be tired when you're supposed to if you sleep late. So you want to try and make yourself tired. So like you're saying, working out is something, but I think a big part of it is just making that sacrifice, and you might have to go one night without proper sleep. So you go to bed at 3 or something and then get up 3-4 hours later. I mean, it's gonna suck, but then if you can fight through and stay up, then definitely when it's bedtime you're gonna be so exhausted because you've been up for like 18 hours or something. But the trick is, can you stay awake long enough? So I would say if you're gonna do that, probably I've been drinking a lot of coffee lately. I don't like that, but or the energy drink or whatever. Just figure something out that if you sleep for a few hours, that when you get up you have something to keep you up so you can last long enough. Because if you fall asleep in the middle of the day, then you're gonna ruin the whole thing, because now you've gotten your rest. So now when bedtime comes, yet again you're not tired because you slept. So, but I know it's tough.
Well, listen, I can go without sleeping. It's not a problem for me. I don't drink anything except water. So all I want to say is it's not a problem for me not to sleep if I'm doing something like anything that I like. Like if I'm bored, then I want to sleep or eat, and that's bad because then I can overeat or oversleep. The thing is, I'd rather sleep today and wake up around 2 or whatever. Yeah, that's not good, but then I would not sleep tomorrow as, no, I mean, if I don't sleep today, I'll F up my training for tomorrow. And well, when I'm saying tomorrow, I actually mean today because it's already Thursday. I must sleep the 8 hours because I'm doing like very intense work tomorrow in the gym. So in Friday I won't sleep because I'm not gonna train. I mean, I am, but not that intensely, so I can not sleep for Friday. But for Thursday I gotta be rested because it's really big intensity. And what I want to say is, if I'm not interrupting you, the only thing is I don't even have a problem not sleeping if I'm gonna do quality stuff like type code and learn it. I don't know, it's like Spanish language to me. I don't know like how to start with it. I don't know, it's so confusing for me sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta well, here's the thing. Have you been doing what I told you to do, which is be honest every day, doing something with Python, even if you're just looking at code. At a minimum, look at some code. And when I say look, I always tell you, make sure that what you're doing is you're trying to interpret the code. So like the code you just did, tomorrow at a minimum, you'd want to take a look at this code and be like, okay, that's the shebang that tells the interpreter where to run this from, and then there's the import for time, and then so basically go through line by line as much as you can. Have you been doing that?
Well, yeah, I had like of course I had like days where I didn't do anything, but usually on the regular I look at your videos like Python implant, and I try to type what you type and to see if it works, and type some other things like not to copy it exactly, but to try to implement the code by myself. So I do actually try to do it, but thing is, I can't explain this, but let me like